Magic the Gathering players and collectors. It's a cold day outside today, and I just happened to go ahead and get started on a little project. If you remember, I guess it was a few months back or something, I bought a lot of cards off of Facebook Marketplace, and I went ahead and did that again. Again, these things are almost like a pig in a poke sometimes. The pictures were not that good. He only took like a few pictures, and I saw a few things in there, and I think I got it at a pretty good price, but at the same time, I haven't even gone through all this stuff. I kind of just, I met the guy, believe it or not, in a Bass Pro Shops parking lot, and in the back of his SUV, he had a ton of magic binders and boxes, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. So we're just gonna dive into this and see what we get. Now, before I started this video, I did get into one of the binders, and I pulled out a bunch of stuff that I thought might be valuable. So this binder here, it's obviously, I don't know if he was a Marine, or it's an interesting collection, because the weirdest things are in binders, and then there's stuff that makes sense, like a rare or something, but then there's stuff like commons and weird stuff that you would think no one would put in a binder. It's just odd. But nonetheless, Toys for Tots is a good organization. So around Christmas time, guys, if it's always a good thing to give toys to the kids who need them. I think they give these out to needy kids or kids in hospitals. So I figured I'd start out with something really good here, because it was on the binder itself. But this is the one I pulled cards from. Now, I'll tell you what. Why don't we look at the cards I pulled, and you guys tell me what you think about these. So let's see. We've got, now this was a foil. I looked it up, and it was worth a couple dollars, so I wasn't sure, so I just took it out and kept it. I found 2 Eldrazi conscriptions. Now, this is a great card for just, enchanting some creature and swinging in and doing some serious crazy stuff. It gives a trample and annihilator 2 and +10/+10. I've used this in some decks. I have this card on a few of my different decks, so that was a pretty good find. We got Spawn Sire of Ulamog. If you can get the 20 mana, you can cast any number of Eldrazi cards you own from outside the game without paying their mana costs. I was like, when this card first came out, I was playing in Standard at the time, and yeah, I did. I did manage to get this off once or twice. I found a way to get the 20 mana. I can't remember how I did it, but nonetheless, all I did was I just took my binder at the time that was sitting next to me. I just tapped my binder and said, okay, swing in with all Eldrazi in this binder. I thought it was funny. But anyway, we got one of those. That was pretty cool. Next we got is this one, Gravitational Shift. Interesting little enchantment. I think the CMC is a bit high on this because it's not too crazy, but it's kind of neat nonetheless. We got 2 Bear Umbras. So yeah, there's 2 in there. So this came, enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control. So super cool. Death Shadow. I think there might have been a playset of these. Yeah, I think there was 4 of them, a playset. Some of these cards I noticed were in little playsets, so it's kind of neat. Quest for Renewal. Now this thing, I had no idea that this has gone up in value. When I looked it up, I found out, whoa, okay, wait a second here. This is actually worth like $6-7 now or more. Pretty good card. Now this one isn't worth a lot, but I really do like this. There's a bunch in there. I think it was like 3 or 4 of them. It only costs 2 to get out, 2 colorless, anything. You may put a land card from your hand in the battlefield just by tapping this. So if you have a lot of lands and you manage to draw a lot of lands in your hand, you can go ahead and play your first land and then tap this guy and play another land. So it's a good way to get some mana ramp out. And or, grading like a landfall deck. You just put this guy in and then you drop a bunch of lands in your hand and you drop them. And, definitely really super cool card. I think it's only, is it a common or something? Yeah, it's just a common, but it's a really good one. I like it. Next we pulled was Loxodon Warhammer. Yeah, it's not worth a lot, but it's a good equipment because you get +3 on your power, And, of course, gives the creature trample and lifelink. And the equip cost is 6 total to get it out. But I thought that was kind of neat, you know. We got this one. This card apparently has been going up in value, this little common. Because I guess you play it and then you get 5... It's just like a mana ramp in red, which, you know, red always needs mana ramp. So, totally useful. This was a great find. All these are in my decks right now. So I was like, wow, okay. Very good card, very useful. If you don't know what it does, activated abilities of creatures you control cost up to 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the amount of mana ability costs to activate to less than 1 mana. So it was a great, great card. I was going to stick it in, I have a couple decks I want to put that in. Tempered Steel, artifact creature you control get +2/+2. So if you're playing a heavy artifact creature deck, well, there you go. Suture Priest Foil. Now this little card here, I don't think they've ever reprinted it, or they might have only reprinted it once or something. But whenever another creature enters the battlefield under control, you can gain a life. Whenever a creature enters in a battlefield under its opponent's control, you may have that player lose a life. So it's double benefiting you in the game. It's only 2 costs to get out. And this is a foil version. So that actually I'm going to swap out a non-foil version for a foil version in one of my decks. There was a Swiftfoot Boots in this folder, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll take it. It's a few bucks. I mean, we got Reaper of Sheoldred in there. Obviously, this creature has an effect. Whenever a source deals damage to Reaper of Sheoldred, that source's controller gets a poison counter. So great in a poison counter deck. Dungrove Elder, he has hexproof. His power and toughness are equal to the number of forests he controls. So he costs 3, but if you got a lot of forests out and a lot of, you know, land drops and things going on, you can definitely get this guy pretty strong for a cheap amount of mana. Day of Judgment, it's just a board wipe. I'm sure you know what it does. This foil was worth something when I looked it up. You know, it's not the greatest card in the world, but it's not bad. I mean, you know, if you have a lot of creatures out and you pay the 4 mana to activate that, well, there you go. You can do some cool things. This one, again, whole idea here was that in foil it was worth more than $1. Like, everything in this pile I think is worth more than $2. I mean, there's a lot of bulk in these, but in this particular folder, these were worth more than $2. We got Elvish Archdruid. There's a bunch of these. I think he's what's called like a lord, because he gives all the other creatures +1/+1. And of course, you can tap, add green mana to your mana pool for each elf you control. So really great card in an elf build deck. The Whisper Silk Cloak. This card used to be bulk, but now people like to use it. So it makes your creature unblockable, which is always a good thing. Necrotic Ooze. Nothing too crazy here, but it has the activated abilities of all creatures in all graveyards. So really kind of cool. And there's a few of them, I think. Was it like, yeah, there's like 3 in there. Next we got is Painful Quandary. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player loses 5 life unless he or she discards a card. So pretty useful. Hand of the Praetors. It's another creature with an effect. Other creatures you control with infect get +1/+1. So it's like another Lord type card. Whenever you cast a creature spell with infect, target player gets a poison counter. This is like a double whammy. Not only do you have poison counter creatures, but yeah, you just giving people poison counters. That's just nuts. Fenzer's Journal. You can gain a life for each card in your hand. So really cool for a life gain deck. Jeez. You know, I don't know why, but this is free drop little artifact creature. He's actually worth like $3. I think it's like $3 or $4 now. Who would have thunk, right? And this card surprised me too. These have been going up in value a lot lately, and you know, I can see why. I do use this card in I have a Traxos deck, which is on my channel if you want to check it out. But I have this card in there. Quick creature gets +2/+2 and it has an infect. When the grafted exoskeleton becomes unattached from a permanent, sacrifice that permanent. And then you can equip it for 2. It's actually really, really cool. The only drawback is if it gets somehow unattached, then of course you have to sack it. So that's the only drawback. But other than that, it's pretty good. Terastodon. I was thinking, okay. I looked it up. Seemed to be worth more than $2 according to the program I was using. When Terastodon enters the battlefield, you may destroy up to 3 target non-creature permanents. For each permanent put into the graveyard that way, its controller puts a 3/3 green elephant creature token into the battlefield. So it's like a souped up version of that that one targeted removal card, which I can't think of the name just yet, but the one that turns your creature into an elephant. Kind of like a souped up version of that. Lord of the Unreal, I guess it's great for Illusion Tribal. So, okay. We got Jace the Archivist. You can pay 1 and tap. Each player discards his or her hand. Then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. So, kind of cool. Again, another one of those. Nothing too crazy there. I like this guy because if you're running any kind of Voltron or equipment build, he only costs 3 to get out, but you just tap it, and any equipment out in the, you can just start attaching equipment for free, basically, with this guy. So, yeah, really good card, believe it or not. And I think he was an uncommon or something. Yeah, he's just an uncommon. Another Jace's Archivist for that there, Mind Unbound. I like this card because if you get it, yeah, it's a sick drop, it's just kind of high. But when you do get it out, as the turns go by, especially in Commander, this card isn't so good in like Modern or I don't know, like Legacy or Modern because of the CMC. But in Commander, there's a high possibility you can get this out, and then stuff starts to be free for you. Or no, so you're drawing cards. So, you know, so it definitely gives you some card draw mid to late game in Commander. So I think I like the card. It's not worth a lot. I think they're only worth like $1, but you know, it's still a good card that I've used before and got off. Ponder. I think we all know what Ponder does. Blue Sun Zenith. Target player draws X cards, shuffle Blue Sun. So you can draw him, put it back in your deck, and maybe go get it back again later. So kind of cool. 2 of those. Praetor's Grasp. Search target opponent's library for a card and exile it face down. Then that player shuffles his or her library. You may look at that card or play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Good way to to take apart like those Timmy combo player kind of people that just go tutor for combos, and they're trying to win like a game or something. If you know that player has a combo piece in their deck, you can go look for it, or at least it gives you a chance to start sifting through somebody's library to see if there's something in there that's, you know, a combo enabler or something. Glistening Oil. Kind of neat. You enchant a creature, give it infects, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you can put a -1 counter on an enchanted creature. That's the only drawback. I think there's ways to negate that where you have creatures that get +1s, and okay, so kind of a cool thing. It's worth, I think, almost $2, so I took it out and kept it. Dismember, Phyrexia mana. Now, if you don't know what this symbol here, it only came out, I think, in just this set. I mean, I think there were a couple cards later printed, but it's extremely rare to see this particular symbol in all of Magic's history. But what it means is, instead of paying, I believe this would be black mana, because it's a black card. Instead of paying a black and a black, you can pay 2 life and 2 life. So maybe 4 life and then just 1 anything. And then you can give a target creature -5/-5 until end of turn. So what this is it's designed to just kind of give you a lot of quick ways to deal with things and keep your mana in black and stuff. It's kind of cool. I found this. It was a foil land. This isn't exactly the greatest card in the world, but you know, it's foil. It's kind of cool. Foil land. Phyrexia Metamorph. They have reprinted this at least a few times now, but it was worth more than $2. So, enters the battlefield as a copy of any artifact or creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. So, kind of cool for copying stuff. Praetor's Grasp. Search target opponent's library for a card and exile it face down. Then that player shuffles his or her library. You may look at it and play that card as long as it remains exiled. So again, another way to do cool things. Actually, do we already have one? Let me see. Oh yeah. Same as the other one. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, definitely the same thing. This one, Chancellor the Forge. You may reveal this card from your opening hand. If you do, at the beginning of the first upkeep, put a 1/1 red goblin creature token with haste onto the battlefield. So, again, it's from New Phyrexia. I did find a lot of these cards, and one of the sets I just did not really buy a lot of, and I wasn't playing a lot of Magic, was in that Phyrexian time period. This particular set, I just never really had a lot of cards from, so it's kind of cool to see them. We had 2 birthing pods come out of this, so again, from that new Phyrexian, you can sack a creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's converted cost. You can put that in the battlefield and shuffle your library. It's really kind of a cool way to tutor up for some stuff. Again, this is a foil. It was a foil rare in this set. Some of these cards I'm probably going to sell. Some of the foil rares I might just go ahead and keep. Destroy all creatures, then search target opponent's library for up to 3 creature cards and put them on into his or her graveyard. Then that player shuffles his or her library. So it's like a board wipe with extra. Interesting, huh? This one, put target card from a graveyard on top of its owner's library. It's a good way to go get something. And if you don't even have to pay any mana for it, you can just pay 2 life and go get stuff. So if you can combine life gain and this kind of stuff, you're going to be doing great. Mind Crank, whenever an opponent loses life, that player puts that many cards from the top of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Super useful. Glistener Elf, you just see a little 1/1 with Infect. Kind of neat little card to have in a deck. I don't think this is worth more than $2, guys. I just thought I'm gonna make an Infect deck here pretty soon, and I'll probably post it on my channel. This Parasite, it looks like you're going to remove up to X counters from target permanent. For each counter removed this way, this creature will get +1/+0 until end of turn. And of course, you can see that you can use the Phyrexian, pay some life mana. And of course, we got another one of these. Put target card from graveyard on top of its library. Okay, so this is what was in this binder. Now, I am going to go ahead and thumb through this binder real quick, guys, so you can take a look at it. These are the ones I knew about, but then there might be other stuff in here that, I missed. And you'll see this binder, kind of what he's got in here, and it's kind of interesting. A lot of commons. See, I would never put commons in a binder. I just don't. I mean, I have them in a box, and kind of organized, but Open the Vaults turned out to not be worth a whole lot, but it's okay, I suppose. You can kind of see what's going on here. I mean, these are old, I want to say maybe standard or modern staples for different stuff, and Drudge Skeletons. That the card's been reprinted a billion times. Why is that in there? Hypnotic Spectre. I mean, they made that in the first set, didn't they? I mean, in 1993, they started making those. So you can kind of see what's in this binder. Nothing here. Let me move this a little bit better right there. There you go. You can see it better. The Lightning Bolt's worth maybe $1 or $2. This wasn't really worth a lot. I looked it up, and you can kind of see what's in here in this binder. Borderland Raider, a lot of these foils, I'm probably going to eventually just pull out and sort out and just kind of keep them set aside and things, there's some, typical mana ramp kind of stuff, and there's this guy. I looked him up. He wasn't really, even in foil, wasn't really worth a lot, but he's got Shroud. 7 to get out. He's a 9/9. Kind of cool if you got a lot of mana ramp and you're playing green. I mean, big creature. It's got Shroud. Now remember, the only disadvantage about Shroud is you can't target it either. So Shroud means that it just can't be targeted by your opponent and you as well. Whereas Hexproof is a better version of Shroud in that it prevents your opponents from targeting the creature, but you can still target it. So that's kind of cool. It's the difference between Shroud and Hexproof, guys, if you don't already know that. Again, a lot of, this is kind of almost like a board wipe, but used it in a couple decks before. What do we got here? Rod of Ruin, nothing too crazy. Now, why would you do this? This is what drives me nuts. Who would and why would anyone put basic lands in this? I mean, I don't get it, but hey, whatever. Not my collection. Well, now it's my collection, but geez, I don't understand why people do stuff, but they do stuff because they do stuff. All these are commons. They're not really... Maybe it's just because of the way the guy built his decks or something, that he wanted to have ready access to these and kind of just look at them. I almost wonder if steady progress is a thing. It does allow you to proliferate. I don't think it's worth a lot, but it's good in a deck that has a lot of counters, or if you're playing like Super Friends or something and you want to add add a +1 to your planeswalkers. Thrumming Bird was once upon a time a thing. I think people use this. Stoic Rebuttal. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, blue is always an interesting. Okay, counter target spell. It's basically a counter spell, but okay, whatever. Nothing too crazy there. Whatever. A lot of, again, commons, and let's look at this guy. I don't think he's worth anything, but let's take a look. Now, guys, if I missed something in here, please let me know. Say, hey, Ivy, that's a really great card. You can use it XYZ, or how to, that kind of thing. Just let me know. I'd love to know, because some of them, I've never seen some of these cards. They're just, again, this period of Magic, I bought a few packs, I remember, but I just wasn't actually actively playing. At the time, Commander wasn't a thing, and I guess it was a thing. It wasn't really commonly played. I mean, I ended up meeting Commander players in 2011, but those were the only ones I ever met. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Name a non-land card. Search target player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards. See, this card would not be good in Commander because there's only a 1 card limit to each card in a Commander deck, the 99. So this is more for like Modern or even Standard or something. So I can see why it's not worth a lot. Skin Render. I remember in Standard, I had a deck that played him once. So I did have some of these cards in the Innistrad block, and I think at that time both this block and Innistrad were. See, I got back into Magic really heavy around the Innistrad time. I was really into it when I was a little kid, and then I played it into the early 2000s, and then got out for a bit, and then Innistrad kind of brought me back in because I like the Gothic theme stuff. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff here, guys. Again, a lot of uncommons, Viridian Revel, different stuff here. Contagion Clasp, I think I'm going to use that in a deck or two recently. I thought this would be worth a lot, but no, it's like the program I scanned it with, so it was only worth like 50 cents. I'm like, oh well. Lots of different things here. I think Infiltration Lens might be a thing, if I remember correctly. Whenever a equipped creature becomes blocked by a creature, you may draw 2 cards. Yeah, that's really useful in Commander. You can drop this in for 2 and then put it on your creature, and then of course you can get some card draw off of that. It's really cheap too, 1 and 1. I like that. Liquid Metal Coating. Does that turn to, oh wait, what's this rare here? I missed this one. Mimic Vat. Whenever a non-token creature is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may exile that card. If you do, return each other card exiled with Mimic Vat to its owner's graveyard. You can put a token in the battlefield that's a copy of the exiled card against haste. Well, that's kind of cool. Lots of shenanigans with making tokens and copying stuff. So, Mer Battlesphere. I think you guys probably have seen this card. It just makes little mer guys, or you can, I think, recombine it back into a. Yeah, you put 4 1/1 colorless mers. Okay. Yeah, you can see what it does. Pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff from the Phyrexian block. Was it, yeah, well, that whole time period when they had, was it, Mirrodin Besieged, all that kind of stuff. This looks pretty cool, but it wasn't really worth a lot, but still a cool card. It's a foil. Prototype Portal enters the battlefield. You may exile an artifact card from your hand. Pay X and tap. Put a token that is a copy of exiled card onto the battlefield. X is the converted mana cost of the card. So it allows you to copy cards and make dupes and stuff. Kinda cool. I could see ways you could manipulate this. Maybe in one, I don't know, maybe like an Urza deck or something. Like Urza, Lord High Artificer or something. Mess around with that one. Tower of Calamities. Nothing too crazy in here. Lots of trigons of different stuff, It looks like you collected them all. It's kind of neat. Basic Glimmer Posts. I guess Locusts are kind of neat. But, yeah, basic lands, like, why put them in here? I don't know. I think a couple of these might be worth more than like bulk, but I'll have to look. I'm not even sure. Then, of course, we got the Eldrazi set, Rise of the Eldrazi in here. I did see some okay stuff, but nothing too crazy. You can kind of see here, Wall of Omens. I think it's, you know, worth maybe 50 cents, maybe $1 on a good day. You know, there's a couple things here. Obviously blue. I was hoping to get, what was it? Was a Lighthouse or something? Or I can't remember. It's like there's a card in this set that I need for a deck. Oh, there's a foil. Let's take a look at this foil. I could probably use this guy in my Merfolk deck at its foil. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside. I got some extra sleeves just for the funsies to kind of go ahead and keep some cards. It's foil too. Look at that. I'll just go set it over there. Let's see. Consume the Meek. I think I remember this card. Isn't it like a board wipe or something? I think it's a board wipe. Destroy each creature with converted mana cost 3 or less. They can't be regenerated. I'm gonna go ahead and keep that one out. I'm sure I can find a use for that in a deck somewhere. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. There's a lot of. You can kind of see, guys, what's in here. Not the foil goblin. I'm actually working on making a goblin deck. I did find a lot of goblins in this collection, so pretty soon, guys, you might be seeing a goblin tribal deck here coming. So keep an eye out for that. Now these videos, this is definitely not going to fit in one video. There's multiple binders. There's an entire huge box. There's these. I got multiples of these, and then a huge like bulk box. But I did thumb through the bulk box, and there wasn't just bulk in there. There was actually some good cards. So we'll take a look at that here. Angel Heart Vial. I think I remember this card. I don't use it, but let's see. Whenever you're dealt damage, you may put that many charge counters on the vial. Remove 4 charge counters from the vial. You gain 2 life and draw a card. So kind of useful if you're in a life gain deck. That can be useful. And of course, if you can manipulate the counters or something cool, you know, you can start doing card draws a lot. Again, why basic lands? Why put them in a folder? That's silly. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't ever do stuff like that. No, here's a foil. Let's take a look at this here foil. I gotta admit the foils are in great shape. They're not all cloudy and messed up. So whoever did this, they obviously took care of them or just left them in there. Whenever Hada Freeblade or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Hada. Not the greatest card, but it's good for, I guess, ally tribal. You know, if you're gonna play that kind of deck, which I'm sure at some point in time people, you know what? I don't think this is worth much. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it back in the binder for now. Yep. Okay, so let's see what else we got. Jowari Shapeshifter. Mana Tapper. Quest for the Goblin Lord? I don't know if that's from, what's this, World Wake? Yeah, it's a World Wake card. Whenever a goblin, okay, that's going to go on my goblin deck then, enters the battlefield, you may put a quest counter on the quest for the Goblin Lord as long as the quest for the Goblin Lord has 5 or more quest counters on it. Creatures you control get +2/+0. Okay. Probably might put that in Goblin deck. We'll see. I did see a lot of them. I know Searing Blaze is a good little common, if I remember correctly. Undamaged Dark Blade, 1 star creature. Oh yeah, landfall decks. If you had a land enter the battlefield and control this turn, Searing Blaze deals 3 damage to that player and 3 damage to the creature instead. So it's kind of like a double lightning bolt, I guess. I guess in Commander you can only have 1 lightning bolt, so if you want to do some direct damage with red, you could use this. I mean, there's probably better cards than that, but it's still got its uses, especially if you're running landfall type stuff. And what do we got here? Canopy. And Overflowing Chalice. Pilgrim's Eye. That's a good commander. What do we got here? It's a foil? Wolfbriar Elemental. Multi-kicker. When the elemental enters the battlefield, you put a 2/2 green wolf creature token on the battlefield for each time. Oh, wow. That's great. And I would imagine a wolf tribal. And it's foil. Maybe I missed that one. I don't know if it's worth anything, but we'll go ahead and put it in a sleeve and set it aside. So, A lot of interesting and good cards in here, guys. I'm just kind of blown away how many cards. I mean, it does weird. It almost seems like it was picked through, but then again, I'm not. There's a lot of empty spaces in these binders. I'm like, well, you know, what do we got? Now, I'm going to go ahead and, we hit 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, guys, and we're going to break them up into different. I'm going to do like 30-minute videos so you guys don't get like stuck in this long thing. You can stop one and hit another video another day or something. So why don't we pause it there? We got some really good hits out of that binder. Again, these were right before I started the video. I wanted to get it a little bit faster, so I went in and pulled all that. So we'll go ahead and pause it here. And guys, thank you for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel, and feel free to leave me some comments. I want to know if I missed anything in any of these binders, because I've been playing a lot of Magic, but this is like, you're talking about Magic has been around for almost 30 years now, so there's probably card interactions in here and cool things that I may have easily missed. So by all means, let me know. But I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say about this. And until next time, we shall adventure onward. Bye.